Today we're going to discuss our award-winning case study session. But first, we would like to tell something about our company. We are Search Engine Results, and we are a digital marketing agency from the Netherlands. Our strength is the combination of the multidisciplinary team and that we only move on data. So we have been implementing GEO since the first AIO rollout last year and use Rankscale as our measurement tool since the beginning. Let's take a look at the topics of today's session. So first we're going to start with why now, so how AI overviews are changing search rankings over time. Then Marleen is going to discuss our approach, the 6 steps in our fixed methods. The results are 2 award-winning cases, Longfonds, which is in healthcare community, and Bouwmaat in e-commerce. Lessons and start, so how you can start on Monday or like even Thursday, and the questions. So if there's anything on your mind, please put it in the chat during our webinar so we can discuss it later on in the Q&A. Well, let's start with why now. The SERP has become an answer already. If we take a look at the SERP and above the fold at the moment, there's just the AI overview. You can also use the AI mode, but search has moved from a list of links to just an answer above the fold. And also the sources are very important. So different LLMs such as AI Overview, the AI mode, but also ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Copilot all work this way with the sources. So actually the question is no longer, am I the #1, but am I cited in the answer? Well, how GEO differs from SEO? In basically, you don't just optimize a page for a search term, you optimize an answer for a question. So actually the question is the unit, and that changes also your URL structure, your H1, and your content planning. Well, the biggest understanding is that GEO is something that sits next to your SEO, but in reality, GEO is an extension. It's like the same foundation, a different unit of optimization. So it's not ranking, but it's being cited what's important. And that means making the answer complete and easy to quote is very important, even if the user does not click through afterwards. If we take a look at our client like Longfonds, someone just had a complaint. They just want some tips. They search for information, but they already get the information from the SERP. And position and CTR only tells you half of the story. You need visibility and citation share per platform. Yeah, Google has already written the answer, so just use the information they gave you. What we do is we pull that answer in, and we use that as our minimum standard. That information we will write better, so we will get a more complete answer to our own brand voice. So we match the current answer in the SERP with our tone of voice and experience of the customer to get a full, just a full outroll of the answer. So you do not start from 0, and it's not a guess what Google would like to show to the search engine users. You know exactly which information belongs to the answer, and you can add from the knowledge yourself what's still missing. Some people are going to think, is this copying? But this is not copying, because we use the AIO as a briefing. We know that these are just templates, like signals Google would like to show. So the AI overview we see is not our output, it's just the beginning. And without our own experience and our client data and our insights, it will never become a source that Google prefers, because you have to do it better. So actually we combine it with our knowledge, our experience, and our client data. And the AI overview you see today is just a summary of sources Google trusts and that's not just a black box. It's just a briefing you can read for free, so you can see what's important for Google, and you can get insights of their expectations of a query, relevant, in what order you can make it with your own ones, and you can bring your own data into it.
Right. We will now take you along with our approach and tell you how we actually do it in 6 steps. First of all, we start with the baseline measurements. We scrape the questions from people also asked, and we upload the full set in bulk to Rankscale. After that, we scrape the search results and collect existing AIO and AIO mode answers. As our third step, rewriting. This is, of course, the most important step. When we rewrite, we do it based on the existing AIO and the keywords and the links. Fourth step, the structure. The question is our entry point for the structure. And the 5-step bulk uploads. We deliver the content in HTML for bulk uploads. In this step, we wireframing, sorry, of the people also ask pages, and the product matching is essential. After that, the content can be published. Last but not least, follow-up measurements. We monitor the results against the baseline. And after that, we adjust as we go. So first step, the baseline. So we scrape the people also ask blogs across the client's full keyword sets. For example, for Bouwmaat, we did that on more than 5,000 top 10 positions, where people also ask blog was visible. That gave us almost 10K unique questions. We use people also ask on purpose. So Google has already validated those questions as relevant, and they have proven visibility in the SERP. And they overlap strongly with what people also what people ask in the LLMs. So anything with 10K questions. So why we sort them by so that's why we sort them by cumulative monthly search volume, sorry. The total volume of every keyword that triggers a question. A question that shows up in 30 search terms is worth more than a question with high volume of its own that appears nowhere.
Yeah, after that, we group them into categories. So we started with 10K questions. We grouped them into categories. We build it like a team. So there's a team materials, a team wood, and a team tools. And this grouping is not just housekeeping, but it's just a basis to our content hubs. And also these teams we bring on in our dashboard in Rankscale, because also if you make an import of your search terms in Rankscale, it's also possible to group it like subjects. So that's also a good, just a good approach to handle.
So our research does not produce 10 questions. It produces several hundred questions per category, as we just saw. That's why the bulk import of Rankscale fits us really well. We paste them or we upload them in CSV. And after that, we set the engines and schedule per question and create them all in one go. So yeah, the bulk import is a really important tool for us in Rankscale. When you're adding questions by hand, you make selective without noticing. You pick the questions you think you can win. But in bulk, you can also measure the questions where you score 0 today. And I think that's where the growth is.
Yeah, we saw many tools, but the bulk upload is just very important to us because we do it in bulk. Like we have basically 10K questions, and for us it's it's not okay to put it all just handwritten down in one tool. So that's why we would recommend to use a bulk upload if you would like to add in bulk the questions to your dashboard.
So this is our CSV, the structure, and the columns in the template line up with our research producers. So topics become a category, search term is the question, and tag is the cluster. Everything we worked out in step 1 only needs to be uploaded. So they decide whether you can report per cluster later or get stuck with one at average. For Bouwmaat, this lets us see like wood, building materials, and tools move separately, and that's why that's what we steer on. So with the baseline in place, we scrape the search results. We ask Google the selected questions. We capture the current people also ask, the AI overview and the AI modes. And then we convert them to HTML. What tells us exactly what Google shows right now, which sub-questions are in there and which sources it uses. So this becomes our input for the rewriting step and the completeness check for our own answer. So rewriting, this is where everything comes together. The questions, the match keywords, the internal links, the existing AIO answer, and the brand guides. In the prompts, we set out what we want to be and above all, what we don't want to be. So for Longfonds, for example, in the prompt, we literally say, do not play a doctor. We are not a medical authority. Thuisarts in the Netherlands is. So what we do have are the experiences of fellow patients. So the prompt actively pushes for collecting user experiences instead of giving medical advice, which we don't want. Well, the structure, of course, is very important. Every question gets its own URL and its own H1. Our systems rewards. So all those questions link through to the pillar page. So you're not building only loose answers, but also a cluster with a clear center. It is also a pleasant route for the user. When you arrive with a question, you get an answer, and then you can move on to maybe you want to read more within that cluster. Bulk upload is also a big step. We deliver everything in HTML. It goes into the CMS with the heading structure and the internal links included. At Bouwmaat, as you can see, the CMS turned out not to support the layout we wanted. Preferably, we want the H1, we want the author, we want a paragraph, and below the paragraph, which answers the question, so that's the most important text for the user, we want accordion, like read more, and below that, the products and inspiration blocks, etc. Why the products? People land on the informational page, and with the products, we can also lead them to something more important for
something more commercial.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the follow-up, GEO content is never finished because the AI answers themselves keep changing. So we measure continuously on 3 levels. First of all, visibility per platform in Rankscale. Besides that, we also measure classic performance in Search Console, and also on-page coverage based on our own search term analysis. So the third level gives you the most concrete improvements. One example from Bouwmaat, the term MDF or plywood got 210 impressions in 1 month at an average position of 8, while the term was not mentioned on the page at all. So that's quick fix in 5 minutes.
So now let's talk about the award-winning cases. I would start with Longfonds. And Longfonds is a Dutch organization for people with lung diseases like me. And they help patients to do research about lung disease and work for healthy lungs. Good to know is they are a non-profit organization, so they want to inform and help as many people with lung problems as possible. So we already saw a snapshot from the Bouwmaat case. Marleen would like to tell you more about it after this. But for Longfonds, we did use the same method, but they had a different goal. Here's the KPI, not just sales, but it's SERP presence, because engagement is very important for Longfonds and the content quality. So SERP presence and engagement are the main KPIs, and that's why we are focusing on our visibility in the people also ask blog, in the AI overview, and we would like to get people the right information or to the right page. Because users who were searching for help ended up on budget pharmacy sites. In the Netherlands, we have like Kruidvat and Ethos, who just like sells something you didn't
like a
get.
Drugstore.
It's more like a drugstore, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they are just focused on sales, but not on advice. So this was primarily caused because the old page of Longfonds did describe a cost, but stopped there. So there was no advice in the page at all. There were no next steps, and there was no guidance on when to seek help. So we focused on the depth of the content and used the workflow Marleen discussed with you, but we focused on just the two phases, and that is rewriting and the human interaction. So those two phases were very important. So we did scrape the people also ask boxes and count it all in. But then the rewriting and also the human interaction were very important, because Longfonds has a very strong policy about healthcare. So that's just another step we take very strictly if we compare it to Bouwmaat. So here you can see a quick overview of the changes we made to the landing page. On the left, you can see the old version, and on the right, you can see the new version. We've made some changes to the structure, but mostly to the content in depth. And I'm going to show you more in detail in the next two slides what we have changed. So on this slide, you can see that we have given a simple overview of different types of cough. We explain what each type may indicate, and in a clear differences without making medical claims, because we can do the same as thuisarts. We can't just say some medical information. And next to that, we added some simple relief tips for coughing, like coughing at night, and because that's the most common in multiple diseases, which happens at night. So people are gonna search at night, and in the old version, they only get a recognition, but they don't get the next step. So most of the time they will say, go to your GP, but when it's in the night, it's not possible. So that's also the content gap, what was the problem at Longfonds, and why just the budget drugstores were ranking above them. So based on all the information of the AI overview and the AI mode and the content gaps we spotted, we added to the 14 pages, and what we've seen is the impressions on the symptom pages fell, but the amount of clicks increased, and most important, the engagement on the symptom pages, the specific 14 symptom pages we optimized, improved more over 30 seconds. So this indicates the content is much more valuable for the patients.
So I'm gonna tell you something more about the Bouwmaat case. Bouwmaat is a Dutch wholesaler in building materials with a wide range of products as building materials, timber, tools, hardware, plumbing, and electrical supplies. The challenge was clear. The people also asked blogs and the AI answers in the building category were dominated by one competitor, Slijdering. That's because they had a content strategy for years. So thanks to that, they were number one in the people also ask and AI. The limit was for us was clear. There were not enough internal capacity to answer all hundreds of questions by hand. So we automated the process. And of course, with human editing as a fixed step and not as an option, because that's the most important thing in optimization. We started with the building materials category because it worked. We expanded to wood and tools. As you can see, across the full folder, we reached more than 45,000 impressions and more than 800 clicks after about 6 weeks with a click-through rate of 1.4%. So that click-through rate was way higher than we expected. We had counted on plenty of impressions, of course, but hardly any clicks since the user already gets the answer in the AI overview. So the fact that the traffic came anyway was a nice surprise in this project. Within 6 weeks, we actually earned back the cost that they had put in this project. So that's a good side note. So here you see Rankscale for the wood category. This was the first crawl with a real baseline. So we ran it before we were going live. So what we did was we put in all the questions we are about to optimize, ran the baseline and see where we are. We were at 11.7% visibility, and within a short time that rose to 67%. And right now we have a visibility of 38% in the AI overview. So as you can see in this overview, we had a big drop. So at first we wrote much longer text for AI overviews. This was only at the beginning of AI overview. When the intent changed, we saw a big drop. Search Console did not show this at all. Based on what we saw in Rankscale, we rewrote the questions. We shortened the text, as we can see it now in AI overviews, and the structure we matched it with the current AI overview. So after that, the results started climbing again quickly. So that was a nice opportunity for us to improve again. In the baseline, Bouwmaat was not even in the top 20 of cited domains around the wood cluster. As I said before, Slijdering was dominated both in the people also ask blogs and in the AI platforms. In the next measurements, we became their biggest competitor. As you can see, we're now number one. One thing stood out, Reddit was in third place. That comes almost entirely from ChatGPT. So this was not only a side note, but a strategic signal, because it told us where the LLMs get their information, their experiences from. So last but not least, we have some lessons and next steps. We want to share some lessons from our own GEO projects. First of all, measure before you publish, because otherwise every result afterwards is an opinion instead of a number. When you measure per platform, never do it on average. AIO, ChatGPT, and Perplexity have behaved differently. An average hides exactly the place where you need to adjust. In step 3, automate process. Research, clustering, and the first draft can go. Finally, editing stays, of course, human work, because for example, for Longfonds, your money, your life topics, it's most important that you edit it afterwards. Check your CMS in a week 1. So when you upload in bulk, heading structure is done, and the custom blocks.
Yeah, check if what's possible in your CMS.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's very strict. It comes very strict what's possible. But if you would like to upload it in bulk, you need to have like a connection between CSV and the CMS. So look what's possible. Maybe you have to build your own custom blocks to get the information in your page. And most of the time what we see is like, if you would like to make a H1, your H1 matches the question. So you would like to have quite big H1, but sometimes if you use capitals, or if you use just a big font, it looks very weird. So make sure your H1 is designed well to put a whole question in it.
Of course, we discussed it before, the prompts. This is very important. Expect multiple rounds of rewriting the prompts, and let the client help write it, because when you do that, when you have the prompt in front of you with the client, you can adjust and you can collaborate with them to make the best prompt. And when you have a good prompt, the outcome will be better than with a prompt that's half done. So that's a very important message. Publish in batches per category, because that way you learn from the batch 1 before you write batch 2. So publishing everything at once, if you do that, you don't have that learning cycle. And last but not least, follow the communities. So Reddit was third in citations, where LLMs get real world experiences. It's where your next content calendar will be. So now how can you start with GEO? You need one clear category and the discipline to measure first. So put a set of questions into Rankscale and run your baseline. When you do that, pick a category where you already have a top 10 or top 20 positions, because that is where your results show up fastest. Step 2, do your research. Scrape that people also ask questions, sort them by cumulative volume, and match keywords and internal URLs. Step 3, write and publish. Build your prompts, run a test batch, maybe 20, 25 questions, and have it reviewed internally and process the feedback before you scale up to more questions. After that, you have to measure and improve. So compare against your baseline that you set in step 1 per platform, and run your own page check on missing terms, and then move on to the next category. So we also have what not to do. Do not do your whole site at once. Do not publish without final editing, and do not start without a baseline, or you will be empty-handed in 6 months. Well, that's the last thing. I think now we are going for the Q&A, if there are any questions.
Yes, there are some questions already in the chat, so I will just quickly read them out loud, and then please answer them. From Jesko, where did you get the 10K questions, or how did you identify them all as relevant? I think this was one of the earliest slides in your slide deck.
Yeah,
What is your answer to this one?
Yeah, what we basically do is we check which questions appear to which queries, and we track the queries like the top 20. So we already know it's the top 20, so they would be relevant. And we also do a manual check with our clients to see if there are some irrelevant questions. But there were just 10K relevant, so that was quite cool.
And is this often for like most of the clients that you take, that it is around 10K questions, or is this just actually an outlier case where normally it's around 500 questions?
Well, I think it's an outlier because it's sometimes very informational as well, because it's something about wood and building materials. If you have just a simpler product like a shoe or something, there won't be that much questions, I guess. So
probably a lot of do-it-yourself questions, things like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a wide range of products, so yeah.
So basically, we look at the top 10, top 20 of the keywords, and then you get a batch of relevant keywords, and also most of the time a batch of relevant questions as well.
Right, perfect. And then another question, also from Jesko, what are your main KPIs you measure for AI search to deem a campaign successful or unsuccessful?
Well, Marleen mentioned in one of the last slides, we always look at visibility per platform. So we look at different LLMs within Rankscale. Sometimes it depends per platform how it's performing. So it's very important to track more. And
for us, most important platforms are AI overview and AI modes. Also because the company, your website will be getting more citations compared to ChatGPT, for example.
Yeah, so it's visibility per platform, and also citation share. And what we do also track is the performance in Search Console, because in our way of work, we build separate pages, and then it's very
easy to track.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the structure of our page is like we always start with FAQ, or well, in Dutch it's different, but you know, so we can sort on that, and we can also sort on building materials or woods category.
Yeah, we do like use a hub-spoke model. So you have a hub like FAQ in your URL. So if you would like to see how it's performing, if you take a look at like clicks and impressions in Search Console, it's very easy because you only have to fill in your hub, and then you can spot which URLs are underneath are falling in your hub and how they perform. Just maybe in addition, how it's if it's successful, it's also based on the competitors. So if we take a look at Bouwmaat, we saw Slidering, which was the leader. But if we know where to go, we know which impressions we can get, and which visibility what's possible in the market. So that's our yardstick, I think.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, also a question from my side. At one point, you mentioned that Reddit was top 3 in the citations, like the old citations that you showed. Do you go into these communities and check the kind of content that is being used there, check the kind of questions that are being used there? Or how do you actually approach, for example, Reddit to get information from to improve your AI search visibility?
Well, sometimes Reddit is also mentioned in the AIOs. So we can get that exact information because we scrape the AIOs and the AI mode. So the hot spot, we also always get because we're scraping the current content, what's ranking. So that's how we use it now, because
Yeah.
most of the time we do it in bulk. So if we have to get along with all the questions and all the threads, that's very, yeah, maybe it's a hard task. I don't think it's if we have just 10K questions, if that's gonna work. So
Yeah.
I think the scraping is the best solution to that for us.
And also AI overview tells us exactly which information is important. So that's what we look at. Yeah, and iMode, of course.
Thanks for answering. I was curious about that one. Please scan the QR code, go to their profiles, reach out to them if you have a question. Also reach out to them if you, for example, need assistance with your project, because right now you also saw at their case studies, they are just highly successful in how they approach AI search. So definitely give them a thought when you're also looking for assistance with your AI search program. Again, thank you very much, Marleen and Shari, for preparing these slides, for preparing the webinar.
Thank you. Please feel free to
reach out.
Yeah.
And thank you, Juice, for hosting us.
Yeah, thank you very much.